Beirut. You're joining us from Boston, Rami. It's great to talk to you again, and I wanted your view on this. On the one hand, we're hearing from Israel that this is only temporary, right? The territory that they've seized in the last few days, that's only temporary. On the other hand, the army's saying that they've received orders to prepare to be there for a long time, and Israel's also saying we want to increase the Israeli population in the area. What do you make of this?
Well, it's pretty clear, Cyril, what's going on. This is very much in line with Zionist strategy and policy, not just in the last 30, 40 years, but really since the beginning of the Zionist-Palestinian-Arab conflict around 1920 or so, that the Israelis have always wanted to create the Zionists wanted to create a Jewish state, which they did with colonial British assistance. They have the Jewish state, Israel. It's very strong. It's supported by most of the world as a Jewish state, but most of the world also opposes its predatory, aggressive apartheid and now genocidal policies against Palestinians and other Arabs. But part of this strategy has always been to have more land for the Jewish state and to have defensive capabilities to protect the Jewish state from any possible threats around it. The problem with Israel is this strategy has only increased the aggressions between Israel and Arab states and now with Iran, and has isolated it very much internationally. So what they're trying to do now, get more land, they claim it's for security. That's one of the most unbelievable claims in the world, because they've just destroyed every military asset that the Syrian state has. And anyway, land has never been a major defense factor in the last 50 years or so, because all the attacks that have happened by Israel or against Israel have been with missiles and rockets and drones that go over any land barriers. So this is something that is expected. It'll generate more opposition from most of the world. The Americans will probably go along with it. The British will probably go along with it, because they're the two big colonial supporters of what Zionism has tried to do for the last century.
Yeah, you say it'll generate opposition. We're already starting to see that. Saudi Arabia has issued a statement against these latest moves by Israel in the Golan Heights. So listening to you and looking at the facts and how Israel has acted, has moved in the last 7 days since Bashar al-Assad fell, it seems pretty clear Israel is using a moment of extreme vulnerability in Syria to grab more land. That's what it comes down to.
That's right, to grab more land, but also to do something else, to assert over and over again, as much as it can, the predominance of Jewish, Zionist, Israeli power in the region, and the prioritization of the state of Israel and its strategic aims and its security. They want to. What they're doing in Syria is not only to get a little bit more buffer zones, because these buffer zones are meaningless, as we just saw, but they're trying to send a message to Iraq, to Iran especially, and to anybody else in the region who will try to threaten Israel, because they've already hit Hamas hard, they've hit Hezbollah, they've now knocked out the state of Syria, and they're using Syria as a lesson to intimidate other people. But again, this policy of military overkill works in the short run. It gains land, but it doesn't work in the long run. Israel is increasingly isolated internationally. The Arabs are watching all of this on TV, doing nothing but making statements. But at some point, there's going to be a combination of forces around the region and around the world that will be more seriously engaged in either making peace with Israel, which is what everybody is willing to do, including the new Syrian government, or engaging it in a resistance battle once again down the road when the resources are recalibrated. So hopefully they'll move towards the peacemaking option, and this is really what we're all looking for now. And if Syria, the government is saying now, the leader is saying, look, we're not interested in fighting the Israelis, that's a great sign. The Iranians and the Saudis are making better relations. The Iranians have made overtures to the Americans. There's signals all over the region that old conflicts possibly may have mechanisms to resolve them finally, and this is really what we should all be trying to achieve.
Rami, what do you think Israel wants to see in Syria? We know what they wanted up to a week ago. They wanted Syria to stop being a conduit of arms going from Iran to Hezbollah. They've achieved that. What now? What would they want to see? Are they okay with the new administration? What are they hoping for?
What they're hoping for is what they're hoping for in all of the Arab countries around them. They want vassal states or supplicant states who bow down to them and make the priority of the state of Israel their priority as well. They've sadly been able to achieve that in most cases, and the Arab official state responses to the last 14, 15 months of savagery by Israel, with the US and UK supporting them enthusiastically. The Arab passive response is a signal that Israel has achieved one of its greatest strategic goals, which is to pacify and indirectly colonize the majority of the Arab countries. No Arab country can buy an advanced military system from the West without the Israelis approving it. It's quite extraordinary. So what Israel wants is to have indirect control over the sovereign decisions of Arab countries. And those sovereign decisions must be based, in Israel's view, on bowing down to Israeli priorities and picking up any crumbs that are left for the Arabs. They don't want any Palestinian or Arab or Iranian, they don't want anybody challenging what they want to do. And this is something that is not realistic in the long run. In the short run, they've achieved it. In the long run, it's not realistic.
Rami Houri, Distinguished Public Policy Fellow at the American University of Beirut. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.